South Korea and the EU have signed a digital trade agreement as they announce a new era in bilateral relations. President Myung is in Europe on a 10-day visit. Security and economic cooperation were also key issues of discussion during a meeting held in Brussels. William Denselow sat down with European Council President Antonio Costa for a CNA exclusive interview. And he began by asking him why the timing of this summit was so significant.
This summit came in the very right moment, because nowadays is more important than ever that like-minded partners, friends, allies work together, because the world is in such uncertainty moment that it's very important that we work together to strengthen our ties and to provide stability, predictability, and reliability in the international relationship.
And this summit's been described as heralding in a new era in this bilateral ties. What exactly will this mean tangibly for both sides going forward, especially with the announcement of this digital partnership?
This digital partnership is strategic, both for Europe and for Republic of Korea, because we are now in the new era on digital, namely on the AI, and we need to work together. And this agreement allows us to invest more in research, in innovation, in developing the new opportunities offered by the new technologies, and also to increase and securize our supply chains in critical elements like semiconductors. Korea is a very important producer of semiconductors. To produce semiconductors, Europe has a huge strategic capacity, and then we need to cooperate together to securize our supply chain.
Well, when it comes to supply chains, obviously a key part of the summit has been on bolstering competitiveness, of course, a huge priority for the European Union, and to de-risk from China, to diversify when it comes to these critical raw materials. So just how important is deepening relationship with South Korea in this regard, especially through the wider prism of de-risking, not decoupling from China?
Look, this summit was about two very strategic, interlinked issues: competitiveness and security, because we need to strengthen our security to boost competitiveness. And we are cooperating very well, not only on security matters, because we also launched the negotiation of agreement in our intelligence, that it's critical to share information, especially on defense industry. Then we can work on digital, we can work on security, we can work on defense industries, we can work on innovation. And this is very important because together, the European Union and South Korea are very powerful. The European Union is, well, the companies from the European Union are the largest investor in Korea. Our trade relations are very important. And what we have done today is to pave the way to increase and to boost our economic ties, our economic relationship, and our cooperation on innovation, on security and defense.
Speaking of security and defense, just 2 years since the Security and Defense Partnership was signed, why was it important to deepen those ties even further, considering the interwoven nature of security in the Indo-Pacific and here in Europe?
Look, in fact, the security in Europe and in the Indo-Pacific are very intertwined. Russia is an intercontinental country. They are making a war in our borders, but they have their borders also with DPKR. Then DPKR is a great supporter of Russia wars in Ukraine, and is a threat for the security and stability in all the Indo-Pacific region. Then we share the same vision. In the international order based on rules, we are upholding multilateralism, the reform of United Nations, to strengthen the cost efficient of United Nations, to modernize the Security Council, but at the same time we are asking for common goals that are critical for the global security. The denuclearization of DPKR is critical, not only for Republic of Korea, but not only for the Indo-Pacific region, but for all the world. That's why we should not share the same values, democracy, rule of law, freedom, but also we need to work together in order to promote our common goals to ensure peace and prosperity in the world.
How important is that theme of alignment, considering the fact that President Lee is starting a 10-day trip here to Europe? We've got the G7 leaders will be gathering in Evian in a few days' time. To have that alignment on issues such as a denuclearized Korean peninsula, freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, and de-risking when it comes to the conflict in the Middle East, Ukraine, another issue. Just that topic of alignment, how important is it to be in sync?
No, this alignment is very significant. We met during 4 hours. You didn't find any disagreement between us. This is very relevant to show how a country in Asia and the European Union can share the same values, can share the same vision of the international order, and can work together for the common benefits of Korean people and European citizens in order to promote prosperity and peace. And we are very grateful to President Lee to decide to start his visit to Europe precisely here in the European Union, and then continue to Italy and France to participate in the G7 meeting next week.
President Costa, wishing you all the best for the G7 meeting, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much for your kind invitation.